Survivor 42 premiered on March 9, 2022, as 18 new castaways battled it out to become the 42nd sole survivor. Right away, we get a relay race challenge for reward, but during the challenge, Drea, Lindsay, and Hai are forced to stop and come to a decision on if they want an advantage in the game, and they all unanimously agree to take that advantage, while also smearing fake blood all over their bodies. Daniel would injure his shoulder in this challenge, but luckily, he was able to stay in the game. After all the craziness, Ika would come out on top, winning flint, a pot, and machete. Since Taku and Bati lost the challenge, they were given one more chance to earn basic supplies via the Savvy or Sweat task. Both tribes go for Savvy, and both correctly guess 51 triangles. We then
let's see if it goes in sync.
And Lindsay obtained.
There's Omer and the triangle
if the
dilemma.
Still in the game, they would get an extra vote. If one of those three were eliminated, it would become 51.
I can talk, thank you very much.
That person would receive an idol. On the Bati tribe, we see three different pairs form. Hai and Lydia are a duo, as are Jenny and Mike, leaving Chanel and Daniel to realize that they should also team up, as they were in the middle. On Ika, we see two sides form, one being the younger side consisting of Tori, Zach, and Swati, while Romeo, Drea, and Roxroy make up the older alliance. However, Roxroy does make the ever so classic mistake of bossing everyone around when it comes to working on the tribe shelter. And speaking of classic mistakes, Tori touches upon how she can't believe people still go off by themselves to look for an idol, only for her to go off by herself to look for an idol. Despite being in an alliance with her, Zach throws Tori under the bus to his skinny guy alliance partner Romeo, thus making Tori a target on Ika as well. On Taku, we hear of Jackson's story of being a transgender male, but unfortunately, he is forced to be removed from the game after not telling production until it was too late about his medical condition, which required lithium, thus making him a liability to play Survivor. Good lord, could you just imagine how pissed off Jackson's alternate must have been watching this? We also get the return of Summit Island and the Prisoner's Dilemma in this premiere, with Jenny, Drea, and Marianne being chosen to go from each tribe. Jenny protects her vote, but both Marianne and Drea risk it, earning themselves an extra vote. At the first immunity challenge, Ika is completely blown out by Bati and Taku, sending them to the first tribal council of Survivor 42. Despite Roxroy and Tori appearing to be the ones on the chopping block, in a moment essentially coming out of nowhere, Zach puts the blame on himself for the challenge, and all of a sudden, he is now the weakling target. Drea lobbies for Roxroy, but Romeo shuts her down, as Roxroy is far more stronger than Zach. At Tribal, Zach is indeed the easy vote, and knowing he was in trouble, Zach used his shot in the dark, but it was no good. And in the first true unanimous vote in Survivor history, the Superfan Nightmare scenario happened to Zach, as he became the first person voted out of Survivor 42.
Zach, the tribe has spoken.
Bye, Zach.
Time for you to go.
I really did have a blast.
So did
Thank you guys.
Seriously.
Episode 2 starts with Drea attempting to form a girls alliance with Swati and Tori, but Swati immediately turns this back onto Drea, believing she's too big of a threat. On Bati, Mike finds the Beware advantage and shares this information with his ally Jenny, plus Daniel, believing he could trust him. On Taku, we see that the majority is Lindsay, Jonathan, and Omer, as Lindsay and Jonathan are obviously close, given that they're both challenge beasts, while Omer and Jonathan bond as they're each other's brain and meat shields respectively. At the immunity challenge, Jonathan's heavy metal voice couldn't save Taku, as they lost immunity. With Marianne and Mariah knowing it was one of them, they both campaigned to the majority on why they're more valuable. At Tribal, to the surprise of no one who saw the season preview, Mariah received all the votes, and her shot in the dark failed, thus ending the dream of one of the more forgettable players in recent Survivor memory.
Mariah, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
You guys, bring it home. Love you.
Love you.
We start off episode 3 with the scene that spoiled the previous tribal council, with Marianne finding the Beware advantage in front of Omer. Speaking of that advantage, Daniel and Mike want to discuss it some more. However, in a funny scene, Mike starts to panic as he forgot where he left it.
No, it's not here. There was a Y in the road. I said, let me check the Y out. I remember the Y. When I found it, I buried it quick because I didn't want to get caught. And now I can't find it. I can't lose an idol. And what do? I mean, I don't remember even the phrase right now.
I am mortified at this gameplay.
After they finally find it, Mike gives it to Daniel for him to read, with Daniel realizing that Mike couldn't vote, which was big considering him and Chanel were closer to Mike and Jenny than they were with Lydia and Hai. Thus, the four of them could no longer split the votes. At the immunity challenge, it was now Bati's turn to lose, and after the challenge, Chanel and Omer were chosen to go to Summit Island. The two of them talked about Tribal, and Chanel admitted she could not lose her vote for tonight. So with that in mind, Omer risked his vote, while Chanel obviously knew she had to play it safe and decided to protect her vote. Oh, Chanel, you had one job, girl. Knowing she instantly screwed up, Chanel told the majority she potentially lost her vote, thus all of a sudden, making it a 2-2 split. So Chanel desperately tried to outsmart Lydia and Hai by getting them to split their votes, But at an all-time great pre-merge tribal council, the two stuck to their gut and put their votes on Jenny, while Jenny and Daniel voted for Lydia, making it a tied vote. Hai and Daniel deliberated on what to do, but after Daniel admitted early on he wasn't going to Rocks, Hai took control of the situation, saying he was willing to draw Rocks for Lydia, thus giving Daniel no choice but to side with Hai to avoid a rock draw, and in the end, Jenny was sent home, basically because Mike found an idol, and Chanel stupidly decided to risk her vote. God, that's brutal.
Jenny, the tribe has spoken.
After Chanel's insanely bad decision and Daniel blowing up his game at Tribal, Mike officially flips to Hai and Lydia's side, and somehow, someway, Lydia and Hai went from the 4-2 minority to the power position on Bati. At the reward challenge, Jonathan absolutely dominated and led Taku to victory. However, his challenge dominance was starting to be noticed by everyone, and he also made a big time mistake when he mentioned just how close the Taku 4 were.
We have such a solid 4, Jeff, that I feel comfortable working with these guys so much that these challenges are not easy, but I mean, we've been winning and it's so encouraging, man. I'm stoked.
While some of his trimates were upset, his comments would be a foreshadowing of the Taku 4 come the post-merge. On Ika, Swati approached Tori with the plan to bring in Roxroy to blindside Drea, but when Tori talked with Roxroy, she mentioned to him that Drea had an extra vote, which led Roxroy to rat out Tori to Drea. At the immediate challenge, Jonathan and Taku once again dominated, while Bati just edged out Ika, sending them back to Tribal. Roxroy campaigned for Tori due to her erratic gameplay. However, out of nowhere, Romeo plotted with his ally Drea to vote out Swati. The reason being was that Swati had told everyone she was their number 1, and that schemish gameplay didn't sit right with him. I know Romeo gets a lot of flack this season for just how awful he played in the post-merge, but I think people forget just how much he dominated the pre-merge, as literally everyone's name got thrown around on Ika other than his, and between Romeo and Drea, he was more of the decision maker. Knowing her plan to take out Drea completely backfired and now she was in trouble, Swati threw Tori under the bus to save herself, and vice versa. At Tribal, Swati played her shot in the dark to no avail. Roxroy voted for Tori, but Romeo and Drea sided with Tori to take out Swati due to her aggressive gameplay, sending her home in a 3-1 vote.
Swati, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
Despite being saved once again, Tori knew she was the alternate boot at both of Ika's tribal councils and was ready to jump ship at the merge. Drea then finally found Ika's Beware advantage, and at the immediate challenge, all 3 phrases were finally said together, activating the idols.
It's the classic case of the bunny rabbit having dinner at the mailbox.
This potato has skin. We have skin. Are we just all potatoes?
Oh my gosh.
I gotta say something. There is such grace in the game of soccer that it makes me cry. Now you wonder why I'm saying that.
Yeah.
See, I used to coach youth football, and soccer season and football season were at the same time.
Bati would lose immunity, meaning we would get a 4-4-4 split come the merge, which was pretty neat. The two very polar opposite personalities of Lydia and Roxroy were sent to the summit, and unsurprisingly, the two didn't really click, causing both of them to protect their vote. Knowing they're on the chopping block, Chanel and Daniel both made their pitches on why they should stay. At yet another crazy tribal council for Bati in what should have been an easy vote, the majority split their votes on Chanel and Daniel, thinking they will vote for each other. However, in a pretty smart move, Chanel puts her vote on Mike in case Daniel played a shot in the dark, thus making this a 2-2-1 vote. But on the revote, the original target of Daniel was voted out unanimously.
Alright, it's only once in a lifetime. I'm gonna enjoy this. There you go, Jeff.
Daniel, the tribe has spoken.
The tribe has spoken.
Episode 6 now, a 2-part episode, and all Survivor fans were in absolute fear of this episode coming in, because once again, making its unwanted return at this merge episode was the Hourglass twist. But hey, at least the winners were given Applebee's this season, so that totally makes this twist worth it. Just like everyone predicted, Jonathan's team, which consisted of Hai, Lydia, Tori, and Marianne, won immunity. Oh man, if they only knew. Roxroy would end up being the one to go to Exile Island, where funny enough, he was right at home, as he basically had all day to do what he loved in Survivor, and that was building a brand new shelter. He also got to experience the beautiful scene of Fiji and not have to worry about his nagging wife and kids.
Being out here by myself, no kids around, no wife that's bored and wants to nag me, I saw it as an opportunity. Oh yeah, and that to me is wonderful. Not to mention, I'm in Fiji, man.
When everyone returns to camp, a majority is formed against the outsiders from each tribe, with those people being Marianne, Tori, and Chanel. And since Marianne and Tori were safe, this made Chanel the target. But as expected,
sometimes everyone deserves a do-over. I went back and I changed history.
In a worst case scenario for the majority, the new target Tori won immunity. After Jonathan's dominance in the pre-merge, and I mean come on, just look at the dude, he was the easy target for this vote. However, in an attempt to save her ally and shield, Lindsay tried to put the votes on Marianne. With Marianne having a public idol, and Jonathan being Jonathan, it looked like we might get a split vote. But then, one of the best modern players in Survivor made his first big play.
Lydia says to me, like, I'm really torn, and I'm like, this is opportunity. Like, you're telling me you don't know if you want to stick with the 8, and that's my opening to say, sacrifice little Lydia.
You were the primary at first, but I'm trying to shift it to Lydia.
Why was I the primary?
I don't know. There's rumors that you have an idol, so I think other tribes know about it. Just be chill. Okay, I need you to be chill, because if you blow it,
It's gone.
the plan is obvious. We need to switch to Lydia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think Jonathan is too early for him, but now it's like Marianne's the only one, and she has an immunity idol.
Yep.
If she plays that, it's one of the 8. So, Lydia is the choice here.
Unbelievable. With the physical threats of Lindsay and Jonathan on the table, along with Marianne's public idol, who was also on the bottom, Omer somehow got the majority alliance to put their votes on a non-threatening player in Lydia, sending her home in a 6-2-2-1 vote. Just plain amazing.
Lydia, the tribe has spoken. Time to go.
Good luck, guys.
We begin episode 7 with the dynamics clear, as pretty much everyone is in the majority other than Tori, Marianne, Chanel, and now Romeo, as Drea abandoned him to join up with the Powerful Players Majority Alliance, and unfortunately, Romeo would never recover from this. At the reward challenge, the team of Chanel, Jonathan, Mike, Roxroy, and Tori won the reward of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. But more importantly, Drea found another Beware advantage at the sit-out bench, and back at camp, she had to dip her hand in red paint to get her advantage, which ended up being the knowledge's power, bringing her total advantage count to 4. This raises suspicion from Tori, making her the target for the majority, but once again, she clutches up to win immunity. With Marianne off the table for the majority after she chose to sit out of the challenge to give the tribe more rice, the plan was an easy split vote on the remaining outsiders of Romeo and Chanel. Mike pushed really hard for Chanel after she voted for him at the penultimate pre-merge tribal council, but others felt that Romeo should be the target after his paranoia was starting to get the best of him. But in the end, Chanel's poor gameplay finally caught up to her as she was sent to the jury in a 7-3-1 vote.
Chanel, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
It's the final 10 now, and keeping in line with Survivor 41, that means it's time for a split double tribal council. Hai and Jonathan won immunity, with Jonathan also winning reward for his team. Before this twist, much to the anger of Twitter, Roxroy proposed an all-guys alliance since they had a majority. But in a funny twist of fate, Roxroy's team just so happened to be all men, so he targets Romeo instead as an easy vote. However, knowing they would be at the bottom of an all-male alliance, Omer and Hai flipped the vote onto Roxroy, leaving Mike in a tough spot, as he didn't want to break his word. But at Tribal, Roxroy was ironically voted out in a unanimous vote by 4 other men.
Roxroy, the tribe has spoken.
Thank you, Jeff.
Bye, Rox.
Good luck, bud.
Thanks, Roxroy, you can take a spot on the jury next to Chanel.
When the second team entered Tribal Council, it's safe to say they were shocked at what they saw.
It always happens where at one point the black contestants get booted out, boom, 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 and then it's exactly what this is right now. So yeah, I'm pissed.
So would they turn in their idols and then we'd go from there?
Well, I mean, that's their call what they do.
Good job, guys.
Good job, y'all.
With Drea, Marianne, and Jonathan immune, this only left Tori and Lindsay vulnerable, and with Tori being the clear outsider, Jeff didn't even bother with the votes, and simply let Tori play her shot in the dark. For the 4th and final time this season, the shot in the dark failed, and the chaotic run of Tori Meehan came to an end.
Tori, the tribe has spoken.
Despite Omer and Hai both being the brains behind Roxroy's vote-off, Mike believes Hai was the one who led the charge, and Omer plays up to this in an attempt to pin the two big threats against each other. After Jonathan's terrible attempt at strategy the previous day, Lindsay tries to distance herself away from him, as she doesn't want his bad gameplay to drag her own game down. Lindsay would win the reward challenge, and she selected to bring Omer and Mike with her on reward, where the three were surprised by videos from their loved ones. Omer once again used this as an opportunity to throw Hai under the bus, telling Mike that Hai considered him his puppet.
Hai has never told me that Mike was a puppet, but hearing those words just supercharged Mike. And I'm like, Mike, I would never treat you that way.
Lindsay's great episode continued as she won her first immunity. With Mike leading the charge, Hai couldn't get past his threat level and was ultimately sent to the jury in a 6-2 vote.
That's how I wanted to go out. Oh my God, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant.
Love you, Hai.
Love you guys.
Love you, Hai, brother.
Good luck to all of you.
Wow. Hi, the tribe has spoken.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
It's episode 10 now, with plenty of interesting dynamics happening. Yes, Survivor 42 has been a carbon copy of 41 up until this point, but surely they won't bring back the do or die twist to potentially stifle this gameplay, right? Right?
All right, 7 players left in the game, and today is the dangerous do or die twist. It's a risky game of chance.
Oh, for God's sake, Survivor, you drive me crazy. Lindsay and Jonathan were the only ones who chose to compete, with Jonathan outlasting his challenge nemesis, earning his second immunity. Back at camp, Mike wanted to target Drea due to her being too powerful with all her advantages, with Lindsay agreeing to this, as this would give her an idol to use at the final 6. Knowing she was in danger, Drea planned to use her knowledge's power to steal Mike's idol, but for some reason, she told Omer of her plan. This should tell you everything you need to know about Omer's game, as even though the knowledge's power is incredibly OP for Drea, she still trusted Omer enough to tell him of this vital information. Well, safe to say, this was the wrong move for Drea, as Omer told Mike of her knowledge's power advantage, leading Mike to give his idol to Omer. Unfortunately, with all this excitement, none of it would end up mattering if Lindsay ended up going home due to the do or die twist, and after she decided not to switch her box, you figured that the Monty Hall problem would do her in.
You're gonna stay with what you chose.
Yeah.
Come on, Lynn. You always won. If it is a flame, you're guaranteed a spot in the final 6. If it's a skull, you're out of the game, and we'll go to the jury. Let's reveal your box.
Wow, I gotta admit, Survivor got me big time, as I and many other fans believe that Lindsay was purpled for a majority of the season due to her going home because of this dumb twist, and when she got her backstory before Tribal, this all but confirmed it to me. With Lindsay now safe and voting about to begin, Drea used her knowledge's power advantage on Mike to no avail, as Jeff confirmed he no longer was in possession of an idol. In a last-ditch effort, Drea used her extra vote on Mike, but it wasn't enough, as she was sent to the jury in a 5-3 vote.
Do you want to say it?
The tribe has spoken.
Bye, Dre. I love you, baby.
Bye, Drea.
See you on the other side.
Love you.
It's the penultimate episode before the finale now, and after dominating the game behind the scenes the entire post-merge, it was finally starting to dawn on people that Omer was the mastermind of this season. However, his ally Lindsay still wanted Jonathan out, as he was her biggest competition. Omer did win reward, and smartly chose everyone other than the rivals of Lindsay and Jonathan to join him for some cake and cookies. Mike then told Marianne of Lindsay's idol, which made Marianne question Lindsay's loyalty to her. At the immunity challenge, it once again came down to Lindsay and Jonathan, with the former coming out on top to win her second immunity. Omer and Lindsay were so confident that everyone would split the votes on Mike and Jonathan that they didn't even bother to play Lindsay's idol due to the fear of it being rehidden. However, knowing Omer was the biggest threat in the game, Marianne made her $1 million move. She got Romeo on board to vote for Omer, and she would also vote for him twice with her extra vote, while also confirming to Jonathan and Mike that they would be safe if they put their votes on Romeo. And at Tribal Council, the lovable Marianne pulled off the biggest move of the season, taking out Omer in a 3-2-2 vote, ending Omer's amazing Survivor 42 journey.
13th person voted out and the 6th member of our jury. Omer.
Wow, good job.
I'm sorry.
Good job, brother.
Omer, the tribe has spoken.
Good job.
It's the finale now, and I gotta say, a pretty interesting Final 5, as all these characters are pretty distinct in terms of archetype. Just like in 41, the Final 5 are dropped off on a new beach and are given a riddle to solve for a chance at an advantage at the next immunity challenge. Lindsay solved the riddle first, and despite some struggle, she was able to find the advantage. This quote slight advantage would be that she only had to untie 1 knot, while the others had to untie 6. Despite this, Jonathan still beasted his way to the puzzle, and once again, it came down to Lindsay and Jonathan.
Jeff, how's it? Mike pulls it out by 1 piece. Mike going to the final 4. What a finish. Wow.
I've been waiting 21 years for this.
Whoa.
Wow, what a comeback for Mike. The 58-year-old was able to beat Jonathan and Lindsay, who had an insanely OP advantage. Massive respect. Mike brought Jonathan with him on reward, and the two confirmed that Mike would play his idol on him. The problem, however, was that Mike also made the same promise to Lindsay and Marianne, putting him into quite the dilemma on who he would actually play his idol for. Marianne and Lindsay both desperately campaigned for him to play it on one of them, as they knew at that point they could take out Jonathan. But at a very anticlimactic tribal, Mike indeed plays his idol for Marianne. However, Marianne thought better of making a big move for the sake of making a big move, and held on to her idol, and the biggest jury threat left in the game, in Lindsay, was sent to the jury in a unanimous vote.
Lindsay, the tribe has spoken.
The final four compete in their final Mutie challenge, and yeah, I still can't believe this happened.
Jonathan drops and he's out. Can't make the transition. Romeo wins his first individual immunity, and it could not have come at a bigger time.
Marianne displayed her great social skills once again, as Romeo put Mike and Jonathan in a fire-making challenge. In what could be a hack for future fire-making challenges, Mike basically threw everything he had onto his fire and absolutely dominated Jonathan, securing himself a spot in the final three, thus making Jonathan the final member of the jury.
And Mr. Jeff, I gotta say
it.
I fought the good fight.
And Jonathan.
The tribe has spoken.
Mike, Marianne, and Romeo now make up the final three. Seriously, what an unexpected final three, as not only could you argue these were three of the weaker players coming into the season, but they all started on different tribes as well, with three very different paths to the end. At the final tribal council, Romeo actually had a pretty good performance, while Mike pulled a coach in that he couldn't own up to his game to the best of his abilities. Marianne also started off slow, but then basically won the game when she pulled out her big secret.
And the reason is I kept the only secret in this game. I actually, after your vote, Tori, had the merch idol. I can show it to you right now. And I told no one about it. You can see it over here. Here's the idol. Here's the note. If Mike won, he gave me his word that I would go to the end. If Romeo won, Romeo was afraid of Mike. He would take me to the end. And if Jonathan won, he would want to go and have that final big move to take Mike out, and Romeo and I would be at the end. By taking you out, Omer, I gave myself the best position to be sitting here.
Touché.
In the end, the $1 million smile won herself $1 million as she beat Mike and Romeo in a 7-1-0 vote to become the 42nd sole survivor, the 40th survivor winner, and the first black female winner since Fesepia. Who would have thunk it?
The winner of Survivor 42, Marianne. That's 5, that's enough. Go.
Thank you guys so much for watching Survivor 42 in 22 minutes. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed reviewing the season. If you like this video, then be sure to smash that like and sub button, and also check out my old school Survivor in blank minute videos as well. Also, I'll be posting a 2-part series these next 2 weeks of each Survivor winner's best move, so be on the lookout for that. With all that said, take care everyone, and I'll see you next time.